Hello and welcome everyone to the Bets Unwrapped podcast. I'm your host, C Money52. I'm joined by the director of Unwrapped Sports, Perry Aston. How's it going, man?
What is up, Corey? What is up, Bets Unwrapped gang? Pumped to be here. Football's back. I'm buzzing. I am ready to start talking about some bets. Let's get it.
Definitely. Just such a crazy week one, as always, just because so much speculation goes into, what we think is going to happen, and then what actually happens is a little bit different than what we expected. So that's normal. That's kind of how these things work. But looking into week two, I think it's going to be a very interesting week as well. So we'll not waste any more time and we'll get straight into it. And I'm looking at the first game is Washington Commanders and Detroit Lions. The Lions are now down to being a 1-point favorite. So really close to a pick 'em here. And the total is 48.5. Just based on that, is there anything that really shocks you or anything that interests you just based on straight?
It's definitely an interesting line because it's very close for the Lions. I guess it's a little closer than I was expecting for the Lions to be. I thought they'd at least be something like a -3, -4 type of game. So definitely a slight shock to me. But at the end of the day, the Lions have been kicking, man. They have been going down with a fight dating back to last year. So they've been in a hard W, honestly. And I think now they got another year under their belt. They're feeling even stronger now. Had a good draft. So overall, I'm feeling like the Lions are going to shock some people. So I'll be honest, I'm not going to be shocked if the Lions win this game. So I'm starting to sip the Kool-Aid as well, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think it's a little bit of a overreaction to last week, seeing Detroit play so well, I guess, per se, against the Eagles, putting up 30 plus against the Eagles.
But I mean, the Commanders aren't going to be much better than the Eagles. They're right at the same tier, especially I'd say defensively. They're very similar as well. Like I'd expect a pretty high scoring game, especially with Chase Young still out, not getting a lot of pressure on Goff, or potentially not being able to stop Swift, who just completely was absurd last 15 carries for 144. Are you joking me? I mean, at the end of the day, you got to have to stop him. And Goff didn't look bad. I mean, he's comfortable in the offense. He's not a great quarterback, but he's not a bad quarterback. Like he'll get the job done. And I don't think Washington's amazing, but they definitely impressed a little bit last week. I mean, Wentz did kind of what Wentz does and made a few mistakes, but overall had a good game. And Gibson went off. I know it. I know you hated it. All I thought of was
no,
how
I did.
you were just sitting at home, so pissed.
Like,
just like the vein on your forehead was just popping out a little extra there. One of your kids was like, "Dad, are you good?" You're like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine." Just Gibson's going off. Like Perry's happy right now. It sucks. So
no, I was. It was fine, completely fine with it, Perry, this year. Where I got Gibson,
I just want to know where McKissick was. That's it.
Well, we'll talk about that right now because we're getting into the props here, and there's one prop I absolutely love, and it's Carson Wentz interception. No, that one's a good one, but it's not the one that
is absolute money. Are you serious?
Yeah.
You know he's going to throw for 3 tubs at an interception. You know that's absolutely what's going to happen.
Definitely. The prop I like a lot in this game is Curtis Samuel over 3.5 receptions. Wow. I think this is an absolute gem of prop. I think it's $1.72 on this book here. I looked down Bet365. It's all the way down to $1.65. So definitely shop around and try to get it over that $1.70 threshold. And yeah, hammer. I think the way that they used Curtis Samuel was a lot how they used McKissick last year, and Samuel played a lot in the backfield. They just schemed targets to him, so he got a lot of screens, like easy completions, things like that. So 3.5 is.
I mean, 3.5 is nothing. Dude. He had 11 targets last week. He caught 8 passes, so he was involved like no other. And I don't see that this game being a blowout. I don't see the Commanders, starting to run the ball away at the end of the game. So I can see them passing all the way to the end. And like you mentioned, Curtis Samuel still has that opportunity to get involved in the run game. Even if the game pace does slow down, they can still get him involved there. So, 4 carries for him there, 17 yards. Hey, he looked really efficient. It looked like exactly what we all thought was going to happen last year after he went off with the Panthers the year before. And obviously injuries kind of hurt him, obviously, and we all forgot how dynamic Curtis Samuel was until this last week, where we all remember now.
Yeah, the only other prop that I looked at was DJ Shark over 42.5 yards. He was right around, I think he was at 54 last week, but I think against this Washington secondary, it's not a bad look to look at him.
He put up 52 last week, and a touchdown.
Yeah, so he's interesting as well. But I think we just put Curtis Samuel receptions in this one, and we keep it moving.
Easy.
All right. So we'll move on from the Detroit game. We're going to the Jets and the Browns. I know everyone wants to talk about this game.
The game of the week. The game of the week, baby. Brissett versus who? Flacco?
Yeah, it's not pretty. We got the Browns and the Jets, and the Jets are getting 6.5 points in this game. And I don't know. I really want to take the Browns minus 6.5. I think that seems like just the right thing to do. It's just something about Jacoby Brissett being a quarterback just gives me a little bit of pause. But I do like the Browns in this game. I think the total's at all the way down to 39.5, which is I think a little bit crazy. I do think they should be able to get over that, even if it's kind of just ground and pound kind of game for Cleveland. Yeah. But I do like that.
I think Browns is a pretty safe bet here. Is money line cheating here, or do we have to go spread?
Yeah, no, money line is definitely cheating. We're not going.
I was thinking money line. I'm going to sleep feeling good tonight, but I mean the value is not going to be great. First off, I think Amari Cooper gets more involved this next.
Oh no,
game.
we're not. We are not
betting on it. I'm just saying. I think game script. I think that he's going to get him more involved. Nick Chubb rushing yards. If we can take a look at that, he's an absolute stud. So I would love to see that.
82.5.
82.5. He cleared. What was it? 120 last week. 141 last week. With Brissett there, and the thing is, I think they're going to be winning as well. I think game script's going to be in favor of starting to slow the ball down a little bit. I'll be honest, I think that's a pretty good bet. What's his carries at?
We got rush attempts, Nick Chubb at 16.5.
I mean, dude, he hit 22 last game. That could be
16.5 seems low.
That seems like a better bet to me than that yardage. I think he hits the yardage too, but I feel like a little more comfortable with that. The rushing attempts. I'm going to look back to last season and see how many carries he got per game. Let's see.
DPJ at 2.5 receptions. I think that's a steal as well. It's only $1.60. But I mean, he got a lot of work last week.
What was carries at again?
Carries at 18.5.
18.5?
No, sorry, 16.5.
Yeah. No, I'd say he 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He hit it 7 times last year.
But that was with I guess Baker, more competent QB play.
22 last week, and he looked like a stud. And with Brissett there, I just don't see that changing. I think we go carries. I don't see them going anything less than 17 with Chubb.
Yeah, we don't need to get cute here. We take Nick Chubb over 16.5 rush attempts. I like that play. I think there's other intriguing possibilities in this game. It's just we just don't know.
Yeah, let's go with the workhorse. Let's take it.
Yeah. All right, cool. We're moving on from that terrible game to go to New Orleans and Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. And the Bucs are minus 2.5 favorites in this one. The total's at 43.5. We don't have all the markets in this one because I think Kamara is not going to play. So if Kamara doesn't play, I just don't see how the Saints win this game. Like, I understand the last couple of years and the success they've had against Tom Brady. With that being said, the Saints defense didn't look particularly great against Atlanta last week. So I could see the Bucs winning this game comfortably, and I don't think Tom Brady's going to really have to do much in this game to do that. I want the Fournette market, and I don't think I have it yet here on this book. I saw it at 60.5 on Sportsbet, but as you see here, I have no rushing props whatsoever. So we might have to get creative here.
Yes. I'm not confident with the Saints. Like, I think it's not feeling too good about their chances against Tampa. Although Tom Brady has his stuff going on, he's still Tom Brady. They're going to come out and compete every week. So I think, are we allowed to do the spread into our super parlay?
Yes, we can.
I personally think we go spread, but it is a rivalry game, so I understand the pushback if you give me some, because I do know they can be very fluky in rivalry games individually.
I like the spread. I like anytime touchdown for Leonard Fournette. $1.99. That's almost plus money there. So that's also intriguing. Just looking, you're not going to give me any cool player performance doubles. I was hoping for a Fournette touchdown and win. I mean, we could do that. We could put it together, but I think it's just we could do that technically. So we could go
Fournette and the spread.
Yeah,
I like it.
And yeah, we can definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a rivalry game. I don't think they get cute. I think they pound the ball when they get in the goal line. I think they hand it to Lenny, and if not, I can see him. He's very involved in the pass game.
Yeah, and with Godwin out, Julio was
limping.
Kind of banged up. Mike Evans always gets shut down by Lattimore. I'm not counting on him.
And let's not act like Evans is completely healthy either. So
right. And then he's got Lattimore as well. So Fournette touchdown and Bucs on the money line. So $1.72.
This is hitting so far. I'm like 1,000%. For any of you watching, this is absolute gold right now. So you better be writing this down. Go to my bookie. Go to my bookie. Enter code USN100. Go sign up. Go put these bets in immediately.
Yeah.
You always start
you get 100% deposit bonus on that as well. So, and $15 cash.
Yes.
Especially for those people that can't bet in their state. It's a good option. Carolina Panthers and the New York Giants. Panthers are getting 1.5 points against the Giants. I love Carolina Panthers in this spot. It's bounce back spot for them.
I do too, but Davol showed some fight there. I don't know. I think it's going to be a tight game. I don't feel comfortable taking either one of them in the game.
I love the Panthers. I'm not going to put them in the parlay, but I love the Panthers.
And I'm with you too, because the Panthers are exciting. CMC's back. Like, I like Baker. He's got good energy. Like, Matt Rule's an awful coach. I hope you know that. He's just a terrible coach. But the team has got potential. They can be very exciting. But I just see the Giants as one of those weird, tough losses or tough wins. I think he can go either way, and I'm confident in Daboll after seeing that coaching performance from last week. He's got some cojones on him, so I could see him being aggressive.
Yeah, definitely. I could see him doing that, but at the same time, like, this is the same Giants team that everyone was week one was like, oh yeah, they're not going to do this, they're not going to do that, and all of a sudden,
Saquon's back.
Yeah, but
Daboll had Daniel Jones on that sideline in his face, like, get better or get out, like, type of thing. And then he went and led that drive at the end. So that's all what I've seen since Daboll went ballistic on Daniel Jones on the sideline. It was a manly ass drive at the end there. So maybe he threw some hair on his chest with that conversation. We'll see how it goes.
It's definitely possible.
I'm not out on Daniel Jones yet. I'm not saying he's a good quarterback. I'm not saying that. I'm definitely not saying he's a bad quarterback. I've seen enough flashes, even with an inept coaching staff and terrible support staff throughout these years, for me to believe that he still has enough, if he had the right tools, which I think Daboll and company provide, for him to be a solid quarterback. I'm not saying good, but I'm not out yet. We'll see.
Yeah.
I know. He's too white. He's too white. He's too white to even back. Like, it's one of those. Like, you just look at the guy and you're like, good Lord. Like, from Duke and you're drafted way ahead. You have like 90 fumbles in your rookie season. Like you're just trying to get people to hate you. But I don't know. I'm hanging on.
All right. So as far as props go, could easily take.
What's Saquon? What's Saquon at? I'm curious. I want to see attempts.
Oh, you want attempts?
I want to see attempts
Saquon,
and rushing yards.
Attempts is at 17.5. Rushing yards at 78.5, which is I think is entirely too high. He was 50. It was 57.5 last week.
He put up 164 last week, dude.
That's I know, but still, like
what's his receptions at?
I think it's at 2.5.
He had 7 targets, 6 catches last week, and I can see this being a competitive game. If it's 2.5, that's money.
$3.50, $1.70.
Ooh, that's a little spicier.
It is, and it's not. It's juice to the over already. So
a little spicier. Ooh, what's up, Papa? Thanks for popping in, dude. I don't know. I think Saquon continues to be insanely involved this week. What's his receiving yards at? Which I'm not as big of a fan of because it's weird with.
With running backs and
it could be like 2-yard receptions every time type of thing. What?
Yeah, 29.5.
He hit 30 last week. That doesn't make me feel good at all. I don't know. I'd be okay with taking the over on the receptions, but I'm okay continuing to look elsewhere if you'd like.
I like Robbie Anderson over 39.5 yards receiving.
39.5. I think that's pretty solid. He went way over that last week.
Yeah, just with Baker Mayfield. Like I was on his over receptions last week, which is at 2.5. It's up to 3.5 this week. I still think that's
he put up 100. He put up 102, and he had that deep bomb. I think if he is going to hit any more deep bombs throughout the season, it's going to be to Robbie Anderson. I think he can hit that in one catch, no problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like with Robbie Anderson, it's it's boom or bust. We could look at Robbie Anderson longest reception, which is 18.5 yards. If you're feeling squeamish about the 39.5, but I like 39.5, so I don't mind.
I mean, shit, dude, he had a yard per catch average of 20 last week. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to that's his average, let alone longest. I would say yards sounded pretty good on that one.
Yeah, because I still think he gets used in, he runs a lot of drag routes and stuff like that as well. So
yeah, I think he hits 50, 60 yards, no problem.
Yeah. I like that as well. So we'll add that to the power parlay, and we'll move on from the Carolina game and go to the New England Patriots versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. My Patriots are 2.5-point favorites in Pittsburgh.
Dude, I hate to say that we're about to smash Steelers spread right there, but we're about to smash Steelers spread.
No, we're not. Definitely not.
How does that make any sense? I thought the Steelers looked, although they didn't put the nail in the coffin when they should have. That was Trubisky just being a beta, but he did a good game. Tomlin's just an absolute machine, so I'm never going to doubt him ever. And they're at home. And the Patriots did not look that good last week, so let's not act like they did. I mean, you got Matt Patricia calling the plays, and Mac Jones looked average.
All right, there's 2 trains of thought on this game. So you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers; they turned Joe Burrow over 5 times, and they only scored 23 points, and they had 13 first downs in almost 5 quarters of football. That is not good.
I feel.
As for the Patriots, you can look at it. The defense only gave up 1 touchdown. They turned the ball over. They gave the Dolphins basically, the game. That first drive looked amazing. Then obviously tip ball in the end zone, interception. They were moving the ball well on the ground. Steelers, terrible run defense.
I mean, is Najee playing? I know
Najee's playing.
He was questionable too.
Whether he's, he's definitely not 100%. So
what's Trubisky attempts at?
Putting Trubisky in any parlay is risky.
No, attempts is
we got 30.5.
30.5. He put up 38 last week in a shootout. I don't know. That's quite a lot for him.
Seems high. I like Damian Harris in this game. Let's throw that out there. 52.5 yards rushing. they kind of went away from the run last week, even though Damian Harris started out hot. I think he probably had most of his yards on that first drive.
Yeah.
He looked really good.
I mean,
I think,
yeah, they definitely went away from it. Also, game script was a big part of that too.
yeah,
I can see Damian Harris touchdown. I think that's a little too much of a shot in the dark for us to do this because I'm confident in our power parlay so far. And I think we play it extraordinarily safe, although we have a large parlay. But I think on ours, I'm trying to stay away from anytime touchdowns most of the time. I liked Lenny a lot because of all the situation with all the support staff, but I don't know.
I stay away. I'm staying away from receivers in this game. Like, it's like
Yeah,
a nightmare. George Pickens is at 28.5. Najee Harris is at 14.5. Ramondre's at 12.5. There's no Ty Montgomery.
What are receptions for Freiermuth?
Yeah, that's the only one. It's 3.5.
I think we hit that. I think we hit that, dude. He had 10 targets last week, man. He had 5 receptions, but he had 10 targets. That's a safety blanket big time. And without Najee being 100%, I think Freiermuth is going to be pretty active, man. That's you said two. You said 2.5.
3.5.
I still think he hits it personally.
All right, let's heavily juice to the over. It's $1.65. That's okay. We don't have to have not three plus odds on every game. So we'll take Pat Freiermuth. Play it safe in this game.
Play it safe. It's gonna be a weird game. We know it's gonna be a weird game.
Yeah, for sure. The Colts and the Jags. The Colts just
talk about a weird game again.
Yeah, just
the Colts hella weird.
Constantly play this game.
Which one? The Freiermuth one, Christian? You like the Freiermuth reception? Is that one on your liking?
Okay. If Christian likes it, then we're good.
Oh, we're in, dude. That's seal of approval.
The Colts are 3.5-point favorites in this one. The total's at 45.5. The Jags plus 3.5 is looking really nice at $1.80 right now. So, but that's a trend. Like, can the Colts finally buck this trend of getting rid of the Jaguars here?
I mean, the over is not a bad play, because rivalry game, all things considered. I don't think the defense for Jacksonville is all that great, and I think that their offense is still trying to figure it out, but clearly showed a lot of potential in moving the ball really quickly in this new offense with Kirk and the other weapons. What's Kirk at, dude? Yeah, what's his receptions and his yards at? Because he looked like the absolute alpha in that offense last week.
He's at 59.5 yards receiving. I like a lot of reception props in this game. I like Kirk. I like Zay Jones at 40.5. Both those guys got peppered with targets.
What was Kirk's receptions?
Kirk's receptions is at 5.5, which is
wow, that's high. What's
it's juiced to the under.
What's his yards?
The yardage is 59.5.
Dude, he threw up 117 last week, and they
I don't.
That's pretty intriguing. That one, if I'm being honest.
I think if you're also looking at like same game parlays for this game, I think this might be a good target game. So I like Evan Ingram too. I think he gets 25 yards receiving this one, so you could always go alt lines in this one. You throw in Kirk 50. Yeah, you throw in Kirk 50, you throw in Ingram 25, you throw in Zay Jones, 25 or 40, and you have a nice little parlay already. And then you go over. You knock down this total down a little bit to like 42.5 and go over that. And I think you have a nice little SGP there. So Christian Kirk, I'm not going to fight you on that one. I like that one. Should we go over? Christian Kirk?
We go over on the yards. That receptions is absolute ass. I wouldn't take that either way because he was right there on the border. That's so high. Like if anyone's thinking of taking Christian Kirk, stay away from his receptions. The yards looks pretty tasty.
Yeah, I definitely like that. So even if he catches 5 balls, you'd expect him to get over that.
Christian's got a bet on U of A. I'll never back that as an ASU guy, but I'm rooting for your bet regardless.
They're playing like North Dakota State or something.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on from the Jacksonville game. We're gonna go to the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. I'm so intrigued by this game.
I am so intrigued by this game. I was literally that sentence was about to leave my mouth next. I am so intrigued by this game. It's gonna be so exciting.
The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites, and the total's at 44.5. I would lean to the under right away when I saw. I think it opened up at 46.5.
I don't even want to touch. I don't want to touch this line. I don't want to touch the over the under. I think this is such a coin flip in this game. The Dolphins are potentially a force to be reckoned with. And
no, don't
potentially. I've said potentially, and I'm waiting to see more games here. But both sides of the ball looked tremendous last week. Let's keep.
No, they did not look tremendous, Perry. They did not look tremendous.
For a first-time head coach.
They scored one touchdown.
They look
nice.
Not
tremendous.
There was a lot of Edmonds couldn't move the ball on the ground, so Edmonds is not a good running back. He's a better receiver than running back, that's for sure.
Tremendous.
I was very impressed. I thought that they, especially
I was not
on
impressed.
Defense.
I was like, how are we losing this game?
Especially on defense. No, especially on defense. They seriously impressed me on that side a lot. So I think they can win this game for sure. But I don't feel confident in betting against the Ravens because I'm not sold on the Dolphins like that quite yet. I want to see more. But a first-time head coach, and McDaniels had balls. 4th down, end of the half, slant to Waddle to the house. I love that.
Sure. Great. I just want to see Tua throw
the ball.
I know. That'd be great.
I know, but they're going to win the division this year. Or sorry, they're going to win the wild card this year. So,
okay, we'll see.
Bills are.
I think Tua's going to be a backup soon, so that's all right. All right, props wise, I like Lamar Jackson over 1.5 touchdowns. It's plus 114 if you're on the American system, $2.14 in decimal system. I like that. It's really hard when it comes to props in this game, just because I'm not sure what we get from both these offenses. I think both these offenses left us a little bit wanting more. The Miami Dolphins couldn't run the ball at all against Patriots, who were 22nd against the run last season, and that looked like a disaster. Everything was funneled to Tyreek Hill. Everything was short, nothing deep. Like, where was the creativity? And there's lots of motion and stuff, but it's just like, yeah, it was kind of predictable on how it all kind of went down. I just want to see more from Tua, like as far as like intermediate passing game and deep passing game. And on the other side, on the other side, and disregard that comment.
I love it.
The Ravens, Roman's offense, they were talking about like, oh yeah, we're gonna switch it up and we're gonna be a little bit different, but it was still a stretch vertical passing game. Like Lamar had the highest yards per attempt last week, over 12. So they're just basically, play action, chuck it deep type offense right now. And with no Marquise Brown, you got like Devin Duvernay and
What did Duvernay out of nowhere with those 2 tubs?
Yeah, and I could see Mark Andrews having a really big game in this game. I don't know if Lamar's going to actually decide to run the ball this week or if he's just going to decide not to. But I think there was a lot of intrigue with this game because last year Miami absolutely dog-walked the Ravens all over the place. And there's been a lot of talk in the media about this game. They used a lot of zero pressures versus Lamar, and it worked to a T. So I could see Lamar Jackson getting a deep ball here in this game, and I actually had bet that one as well. So, yeah, I bet his longest reception.
What are Mark Andrews' props? I feel like he's going to be pretty certain all season. Like
61.5 yards.
What are receptions?
5.5.
I don't like either of those, to be honest.
I don't mind. I like the 16.5.
He was under both those last week, and I know that's not completely something to look at because it is Mark Andrews, and he is technically the centerpiece of this offense. So that isn't like the standard that we're basing off of. I think we would consider 5 for 52 with no touchdowns somewhat of a quiet game for him. So I wouldn't be shocked if it went over, but hearing both of them, that he didn't hit them both last week with 7 targets is a little on the cusp. It's on the cusp.
I think Chase Edmonds, 22.5 receiving yards is interesting.
Hey,
He got a lot of work in the
that's
receiving game.
he looked really involved in the receiving. He honestly looked much better in the receiving game than he did on the ground. So he had 40 receiving yards last week.
Yeah. And how many catches did he have?
4.
Yeah, his receptions at 2.5.
I
It's
think
heavily.
I think 2.5 is a safe play there.
It's definitely a safe play. You
Truly.
can add it. We're gonna have to find some more value later on in another game that we like. So we'll take Chase Edmonds over 2.5. Heavily
Yep.
juiced to the over. But yeah, I think this game is very intriguing in that way. I'm not sure what's going to happen as far as props go in this one. So
Yeah. I'm feeling good about this power parlay so far.
yeah, it's going pretty well. I like them. We always like them, but
I know, but this is the winner though. This is the one.
all right, the Falcons at the Rams. The Rams are 10.5-point favorites in this game. Looking in the bounce back spot, like if the Rams lose this game, it's over. I think losing 2 home games, that's just not the way you want to start the season.
Yeah, the Bills, I get it. Week 1, you're going out against the Bills. Yes, it's at home, and you are the defending champions at home, so you have a lot of emotion there. But I mean, it's the Bills, and we have a lot of expectations for them this year, and they're obviously incredible. But I mean, if you lose to the Falcons, that's bad news. I don't personally think it's going to happen. I don't know if 10.5. I don't know if I feel good about 10.5 though.
Right, and there's a lot to, I guess, admire about the Atlanta offense last week. It looked a little bit like collegey, the way that they were running it.
It was fun.
And I don't know if that kind of gimmicky stuff's going to work against defense like the Rams.
Sure.
And that D line, like I think it could be ugly.
No, I'll say yeah, touche. And again, I know we are referencing the Bills last week, but the defense didn't look good at all. So, I mean, Donald looked good, obviously, always. Still ended up getting his sack. But I mean, other than that, the defense, Christian said it himself, like it was the worst possible game on all phases. It was.
Christian is our neighborhood Rams fan, by the way.
The Ramley. But yeah, no, it was really bad. Obviously the Cowboys game was pretty equally as bad. I was more happy with the defense. There was like really no penalties at all, and they only held Brady to like 17. So I was pumped on that part. But I mean, I felt just as shitty about the rest of the Cowboys game too, and I know he felt the same about the Rams. So I think they bounced back. I'm intrigued to see what Mariota rush yard.
I put up the interceptions up there just in case you wanted to look at
that. I wouldn't be shocked if he throws a pick too. But what's his rush yards at? Because he looked like Oregon Mariota.
32.5.
Pretty money, dude.
32.5 is his.
He had last week. He had 72.
Wow,
dude, he had 7. That's why I said he looked like Oregon Mariota last week. He was running.
The only issue is if Donald catches them, it's over.
I mean, but he's going to be running, dude. He's going to be running for his life. He's going to be on a lot of boots, rollouts and stuff. And I think he's going to have to scamper off quite often. And yeah, dude, he had 12 rushes last week, and multiple of them were by design. So, yeah, he said fire MMA stuff. I'm not going to debate you either way right now. I'm kind of in purgatory with that there, so we'll see what happens.
We're not even on the Cowboys, Christian. Come on.
The Calmore have one season. Again, I'm up for anything at this point. Let's see it.
Christian's just taking things personally. That's all right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Unless he's talking about Marcus Mariota, that's different.
No way. He said fire. That would be like a cut or like a trade.
All right, so you like Mariota rushing yards over 32.5. Darrell Henderson 59.5 is interesting. It's just I'm just a little bit worried on seeing how they.
Dude, knowing McVay, Cam Akers gets fucking 12 touches next week.
Yeah.
And 60 yards and a touchdown, and we all think Cam Akers is back. That's how it's gonna go. We all know it.
Cooper Kupp is at 96.5 yards receiving. That's gross.
Incredible.
I'm not.
You know how much respect you have to have from bookies to be that high?
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. Yeah, you've earned that, Cooper Cup. If you're watching the show, which I know you're not, but I know once you watch it, and you'll hear it, man. It's props to you. That's incredible.
Well, I mean, the trend is Cooper Kupp has recorded 118 plus receiving yards in 4 of the Rams' last 5 home games against NFC opponents. That's the most random trend ever. But there you go.
It's crazy. Yeah, I like Mariota Rush a lot. I don't really want to touch the Rams' backfield. That's kind of gross. What about Drake? What about Drake London or Kyle Pitts props? Because they're going to be playing from behind.
I can't do it.
Neither of them?
I can't.
You don't like either of them?
I can't.
What did they do to you?
They're going up against the Rams. I'm not doing it.
Dude, if we're talking about Ramsey right now is the lowest rated corner in the league. I'm not saying he's going to repeat that performance.
Yeah, so
I'm also not saying last week showed anything that we should be worried that Kyle Pitts or Drake London won't find cracks in this defense. Like,
can we just bet Marcus Mariota rushing?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
cool. To the moon.
We don't need to argue about the Atlanta receivers.
But I think Pitts does well this week, personally.
Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are down to 9.5-point favorites in this one. It was over 10.
I kind of want to go with the Seahawks spread.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were spicy last week. I loved it.
The total in this game is 41.5. It's super low. Yeah, I don't know if I can take the Seahawks. The second half was brutal for them. Geno looked like Geno again. It just kind of slowly, luckily the defense stepped up, and the Broncos just kept fumbling the ball on the 1-yard line. So that helped.
Dude, I lost some money last week because the Broncos. Like, I had 3 parlays where when the Broncos hit, it was money line, by the way, no spread. All I needed was their money line, and it was good money coming back, and I lost all of it. Just Hackett knew. You
should have called me, man. I liked the Seahawks last week. I thought it was a good spot for them. This is not a good spot.
Spread, but no one said money.
Yeah, definitely spread. Yeah,
I had money line. I was like, that was money. It was. I'm
that hurts.
I'm so narrative based. I was like, oh, you mean Russ coming back, and so you're gonna tell me the team's lopsided and this and that? And I was like, this is easy. Nope.
I heard you want to talk about narratives. I heard a good narrative about this game here because we saw Tom Brady come back to New England last year, and New England, sold out, tried to win that game, ended up losing on a last-second field goal. Seattle, same thing. All preseason, Russ coming back week 1, blah blah blah. We're gonna sell out. The Patriots looked like crap against that Texans team the week after that. They barely won. They had to win in the last second. I could definitely see Seattle struggling in this game against the 49ers. The 49ers, losing to the Bears, then they have to play Seattle. They're chomping at the bit to get back on the field. Trey Lance aside, I think, no matter what, I think the 49ers could get back on track pretty easily in this game. So I like the 49ers. The 9.5 is probably a bit too rich for me. I'd rather sit this one out and see it for myself. But props wise, is there any player or person that you're looking at in this game that might be interesting?
Deebo Samuel's interesting to look at considering he's always involved. I don't know if Kittle's playing or not. I don't think he's playing. Sorry, I'm a little hesitant there. I'm curious about Trey Lance rushing as well.
Yeah, Trey Lance rushing yards is currently at 43.5. But can you answer me this question? Because I've seen a lot of Trey Lance, the runner, blah, blah, blah. But he's not like a dynamic athlete. Like he's a good athlete, but he's not like Lamar Jackson, Kyler, Josh Allen.
He's not Lamar Jackson, but he's
not that fast. He's not that fast.
He's an athlete, and he's a big guy, so he's really hard to take down too. So he's got that like Josh Allen effect in that regard. But
yes, but he's a worse athlete than Josh Allen.
I mean, dude, like his college career was no fluke. Like it wasn't just a passing career. Like he was moving the ball on the ground. So like
against a bunch of guys that are bagging groceries.
Touche, but regardless, like And you didn't say he's not an athlete. I'm not telling you, I guess he's not a dynamic athlete. I mean, the guy's a fucking athlete. So I guess we
Yeah,
were all,
obviously compared to being you, he's an athlete.
I think we're just scratching the surface with him. Obviously, we haven't seen it all. And last week was in the rain. You know, it was like unbelievably bad weather last week. So it's really hard to pull anything from that Bears and 49ers game, if I'm being honest. So I think this is the first week of truly evaluating Trey Lance as the starting quarterback for the 49ers. So I think because of them losing last week, he's going to try and put the team on his back in certain areas. And I think that's going to come with having to run the ball in certain areas. So
I do not like that. I hate it.
we don't got to roll with it. We don't got to. He rushed the ball 13 times last week for 54.
I like Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson over 53.5 yards rushing.
Oh, don't even talk to me about taking anything in this 49ers running back core ever. Ew, no. It's like that's worse than the Patriots used to be with their running back core. Shanahan is just sitting there like, so how many fantasy owners can I fuck this week? He's like, hey Mason, off the bench. You starting today, baby. And then Jeff Wilson's like fourth string for the day just because he feels like it. Like that's Shanahan.
How many rushing yards did Geno Smith have last week? This game is trouble.
I don't think he had a lot. Let's see. Hold on.
Usually, yeah, there's no chance I'm gonna have any personal plays on this game this week.
Yeah, it doesn't
none whatsoever.
I think it's not loading.
So we got Tyler Lockett at 3.5 receptions, DK Metcalf at 4.5, Noah Fant at 2.5. Aig is the one that I think could have a big game, but he just
Gino had 14 rushing yards, 6 carries.
Ooh, that's not great. It's not great. I don't know, man. I don't know where we go.
I'm not feeling great about this game at all.
I hate this game.
Yeah, this is nasty. Oh man.
Just trying to find.
Can we skip a game and double down on another game?
We could.
Is that allowed in the power parlay rules? Because this smells like skip it right now. This is the game that's going to kill your power.
All right, we're skipping this game. We don't like this game.
That was the one that was going to kill it. I felt it. That was the one that
was going to kill it.
You have a perfect one right now. Like we can't really on that.
All right, we're going to go to the Bengals and your Cowboys. The Bengals are 7.5-point favorites in Dallas with Cooper Rush at quarterback. Joe Mixon to the moon. Let's go.
God, I am not a happy man. Yeah, that is Dak down again. My guy, not happy at all. I don't want to touch the spread. If I have to give recommendations to people, I'd probably say the Bengals spread's a good one on this. Cooper Rush did play really well in his one start. You know, he won the game.
Can he score points?
He had 2 touchdowns and he won the game and he was efficient. You know, he had like a 70% completion percentage. You know, he looked good. He also had Amari Cooper, who threw up some insanely acrobatic catches in that particular game, and he's not there. And clearly, even with Dak last week, the receiving core didn't look ideal. I know Gallup is trending back, but I don't think he's going to be back this week. He looks doubtful. Not feeling particularly great about this game, but I feel pretty good about taking certain player props, though, if I'm being honest, because I truly do think the Cowboys are going to be down. I think the Cowboys are going to be down. I think Schultz is a guy we should be looking at. I think Noah Brown is also a guy that we should be looking at.
Ooh, sneaky. I like it.
Yeah, well, he went off last week, dude. And I mean, off in comparison to the other fucking Cowboys receivers. I'm not the rest of the league. So, yeah, but no, he and for the last few years, every single member of the coaching staff's like, Noah Brown is just exactly who you want as a Cowboy. He's just a true professional. This and this and this. And in my head, I was like, all right, bet. Why don't you fucking play him then? Like, and they never did. And now he is, and he's playing pretty well. But he's like a 4th or 5th year vet now, so he's.
What about your guy Dennis Houston?
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. He outplayed Tolbert this offseason, considering Tolbert had a hammy injury for a couple weeks and was behind, I guess, on the playbook. But Houston was an undrafted guy this year, so he has no time with the Cowboys either. He just outperformed Tolbert, which was pretty incredible. I don't want to touch Zeke. Pollard's intriguing. What is Schultz receptions at?
His receptions at 3.5, $1.68.
He had 7 last week. I think he hits that easy with Rush. Like easy. He's going to
What
be
about
like
his yards?
the definition of a secure. That's what I don't want to touch because I don't know how far Cooper Rush is going to stretch the field. And if he does stretch the field, I don't know if that's going to be with Dalton Schultz. I think Dalton Schultz is going to be that safety blanket all game. And that's why I'm pretty confident in Schultz receptions. I'm actually pretty confident in Pollard receptions too. I know that's not a great indication from his 2 catches last week, but you know,
I'm not touching Pollard after last week.
I think we go Schultz receptions.
All right. We'll add Schultz receptions and we'll leave that game and we'll go to the Houston Texans, Denver Broncos. The Broncos are 10-point favorites in this game. The total's at 45.5, and I really love the Broncos in this one.
Huh. Intriguing.
And I'm usually a Texans kind of sneaky kind of guy when it comes to.
You're a Texans fan? That's crazy. I had no idea.
No, I love it. I love Brandon Cooks. He's my guy.
Respect to Lovie Smith. I'll be honest.
No, we're not going that far.
I was down him hard. I was like, what a terrible hire. Like defensive minded old guy comes out and I actually put up a respectable game.
All right. Well, look, Broncos secondary is no joke. They're not going to be able to throw the ball in this game. I can't see them running the ball very well in this game. I like the Broncos to roll this game. I like Javonte Williams to go off in this game. All the fantasy, truthers will be happy. I think, even Melly Gordon has a good game.
What I was going to say is this is a legitimate split. I think if we're talking in regards to receptions, I would be very intrigued with Javonte. He looked incredibly involved in the passing game.
But only in
game, I thought they favored Gordon on the ground last game. Slightly.
They did.
And I took Gordon over 9.5 carries last game, and I hit, and I took his yards, and I hit. So
yeah, there was a weird sequence last week when he came out. I think it was like in the beginning of the second half, and he just was out there. It
was just I was loving it because I bet on Gordon, but it was pretty clear. Like, wow, like on the ground, that's a clear split. But Javonte is going to get 3 to 4 times the amount of catches that Melvin Gordon's going to get this year.
Yeah, I don't know if we can rely on the stats from last week. Obviously, Denver was in catch-up mode. Up until that point, Javonte had done really very little in the passing game until fourth quarter. So I think it's going to be kind of a reverse script here. Broncos crushing the Texans in this game, and I like Javonte over 58.5 yards rushing. I think he gets that.
He almost hit that last week. So
yeah, I think he gets a couple real nice chunk runs in this game too. So I was looking at I don't have currently his longest rush, but as soon as that comes out, I'm going to be looking at it. If it's around that,
what are Melvin Gordon carries at?
I don't have that at the moment either for some reason. I just have his yards. I have
what are his yards?
His yards are at 50.5, and Javonte's at 58.5.
Yeah, I think we go Javonte. I think he obviously gets more than 7 carries than he did last week, and with those 7 carries, he went 43. So I think he hits that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Is there any other props that you like in this one? Cortland Sutton has a good matchup. So does Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy is the superior route runner out of the two. Cortland Sutton ran a lot of fly routes last week. Yeah. And Russell Wilson didn't look particularly great throwing the ball down the field. So I don't know how we feel about that. Cortland Sutton's at 59.5 and Judy's at 61.5. So
what are Sutton's receptions at?
Sutton's receptions is at 4.5.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. No.
What's Judy's?
Judy's at 4.5 as well.
Yeah, I don't fucking think so.
Yeah. So that's all right. We can always throw in the alts. We can put in Cortland Sutton 50 yards at $1.45. Or Judy 50 yards at $1.45.
72 last week. Just this game is going to be so weird with the game because if it is a blowout,
Yeah, I think
that's
the issue.
But on the other end of the spectrum, so the other bets we could definitely be looking at here for the Texans. I'm curious to what Rex Burkhead receiving yards and receptions are at.
His yards is at 20.5, and it's pretty good value at $1.98.
Receiving yards?
Yeah.
You said 20.5?
Yeah.
He hit 30 last week. What are his receptions at? If that's 2.5, we're smashing that.
Don't have them.
Don't have them?
No.
I think he hits the yardage for receptions. I think they're going to lean on him.
20.5?
Yeah, he hit 30 last week. I think they're going to be down this week.
Checkdowns. I like it.
Checkdowns all day.
Sexy Rexy's in.
Ooh, sexy Rexy. Welcome to the power parlay, my friend.
We got the Arizona Cardinals and the Las Vegas Raiders. I love this game. I think the Raiders crush the Cardinals. I think they win by double digits.
What?
42
I don't know about crush.
You heard me. I said crushed.
I don't know about crush.
Like a grape. Yeah, I like them to win this game. If you got like a 13 plus market, I like that. I like Derek Carr to throw for 300 yards. I like everyone in this game. I like Waller. If they have Isaiah Simmons anywhere near Waller, it's a mismatch. I think the Raiders get it done.
I think James Conner anytime. I think James Conner anytime touchdown is a good bet any week.
But not on my power parlay.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
All right. So what are Carr's passing yards at?
I've already taken this one personally. It's at 281.5.
Yeah.
I got 278.5. I like 278 better, but I do think he throws for 300. So I like
he went 295 last week too, and I think this game's going to be closer than you're saying. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I don't think they're going to crush them. I think it's going to be like a 2-possession game, probably again, maybe like a 10 or 14-point win.
That's the crushing in my book.
Crushing is not 10 to 14-point win.
I said 13 plus.
Crushing is like
crushed.
21 plus. 21 plus is crushing in my head. If you lose by 3 touchdowns, you got fucking demolished.
Okay. Well, I didn't say 3 touchdowns. That's a bit hard to predict.
I don't know. That's, I guess, my definition of crush. I like Carr pass yards. I think that's cool. I don't want to touch their backfield. Brandon Bolden, of course. Yeah, I knew McDaniels was going to do some bullshit like this. He was going to say, "Oh, how can I screw with fantasy owners just like my friend Bill did my whole career?" Brandon Bolden, get over here, buddy. And he throws him in, and he's a huge. He gets a touchdown snipe. What are Carr receptions at? Oh, sorry, Waller receptions.
Waller receptions is 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
What are Devontae Adams? Deontay Adams receptions?
7.5.
Wow. That's crazy.
And he's at 93.5 yards receiving yards.
That's incredible. Kudos to you. That's respect from the bookies. That's great.
Marquise Brown's at 61.5 yards receiving. And
I think they are going to be down. I think Marquise Brown's a good play there, potentially. What are Marquise Brown?
This might be a game we can add some more in as well.
That's what I was thinking.
So we can always go alt lines here as well to be safe.
What was Marquise Brown receptions at?
His receptions is too high. It's 5.5.
Oh, what?
Don't love that.
That's crazy. What are his yards at?
61.5. I like that though.
I don't love it.
Well, we could always just go 50.
Yeah, I love that. That's nice.
All right. 50's in, and then we add what? Devontae 70 yards, 80 yards?
I just don't feel comfortable betting anybody that high. I know it's Devontae, and I know Cooper Kupp would probably be those two guys where you're like, it's kind of money in the bank, but it's just such a high number to rely on.
All right, what about Waller 50.
Oh no, I love my boy
Isaiah
Waller.
Simmons, man, did you watch him try to guard
You know
Travis
I
Kelce?
love my boy Waller. I really do. It's just they have so many.
You don't love him.
weapons.
No, you
I
don't.
do love him. I
No,
do.
you
I
don't.
love him less after last season's injuries. I'll be honest, and the age starting to get up there. I prefer a Schultz now in a dynasty over him, but I just am worried that this is like a Renfro game with him being quiet
This is
last
not a
week.
Renfro game.
I'm just.
The
I'm not saying that.
matchup-
I'm not saying I want to bet on
Hold
Renfro. I'm saying I'm worried it's enough of a Renfro game for me to not feel good that any other. I don't know. I guess I just don't have enough data on the Raiders passing game yet for me to feel good with how. Like seriously, I think it might be the most spread out offense.
All right, 40. 40.
Yeah, that's money.
Okay, we'll go 40, and then we'll throw in Derek Carr as well at 275, just to be nice.
Just to be safe.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah. All right, cool. We're up to 3,000 to 1 odds right now. All right.
And it's a winner too. Like if you guys haven't been following this, I'm absolutely.
All right, we got the Bears and the Packers. The Packers are 10.5-point favorites in this one. The total's at 42.5. I like the Packers. I just don't know about 10.5. I think that's a bit steep. I think they bounce back here. They did move the ball against the Vikings. They just, made too many mistakes. I think they had a 4 and out on the 1 yard line. Just kept, shooting themselves in the foot. So they did move the ball. I think the Bears aren't going to get much pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and I could see the Packers just rolling through here and getting a dub against the Bears, who, Aaron Rodgers is absolutely owned. So Perry's having a little bit of technical difficulties. So I will go through looking at the props here. We got Aaron Rodgers at 248.5. I'm probably going to stay away from the passing yardage for Rodgers in this game. David Montgomery is in a bad spot. Khalil Herbert's interesting at 24.5. This coaching staff's not really attached to David Montgomery, and I could see them, leaning on Khalil Herbert starting a little bit more. So you could definitely see that happening. So, all right, Perry, I got you back in.
All right, my computer is not my friend today. We're switching the phone. But I got the new iPhone 14 Pro yesterday, so we're rolling.
So we're good to go.
You're going to hear me perfectly clear.
So yeah, I was just talking about the Packers. I kind of like Khalil Herbert in a sneaky spot here. What, you don't like Khalil Herbert? Actually, you know what? Fantasy advice.
I don't dislike Khalil Herbert. I don't dislike Khalil Herbert. I just don't like that running back core yet. I don't know what to make of it yet because I just am nervous with Montgomery's usage and I don't feel good betting on either.
I was just saying that that coaching staff isn't married to David Montgomery, so I could see if Montgomery comes out and has a terrible game again, I could see them that eventually turning into a 50-50 split pretty quickly.
But again, I'm just not taking anything from last week's game because it was the worst weather, and clearly it was going to be tended more towards to a running game. So they're stacking the box, and I'm just not going to take that as
they're stacking the box, and my man Khalil Herbert had 45 yards rushing.
For sure, but when you have Montgomery back there and you're stacking the box, I mean, you know what the game plan is. Herbert's when you can catch by surprise a little bit. I'm not saying Herbert's bad. I'm saying Herbert is that guy that will bounce off randomly. But last week, I'm just saying it was just such a weird game. I mean, Fields threw the ball 17 times. You knew what was coming. So,
I mean, we've seen Fields throw 17.5 times in good weather games. So, yeah, that's surprising too much.
Touche.
All right, props wise, what do you like in this game?
I mean, Dante Pettis to the moon, obviously.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back, baby. I think Justin Fields rushing attempts is interesting.
Okay.
He ran the ball like crazy last week. I know. Again, last week was a tough game to gauge because he had to run the ball more than usual. Depending on what his attempts are at.
I don't have it.
Okay. Because they're gonna be down. What are his completion? What are his passing attempts at?
Oh no, we can't do that. We can't do that.
I don't know about completions, but attempts, like
attempts at 30.5.
Oh, good Lord!
We should go under on that. To be honest,
That's high. I don't want to go under on that because again, they're playing the Packers. I could see him throwing for that, but throwing for like 40% completion percentage or something, just because he's trying to launch it. What are Mooney's receptions at?
Mooney. We're really doing Mooney props right now. He's at 4.5. Gross.
That's high.
That is too high.
That is high.
Montgomery 2.5 is good. I like that.
Receptions?
Yeah. I think he went over both his yards and receptions last week.
Yeah, I'm with it.
His yards is at 19.5. If you like that better.
Fields is the dump down god. I'd rather go receptions in running back world, if I'm honest with you. The yardage is such a crapshoot because I've seen so many times where guys have gotten like 8 receptions but just shit yards because like there's so many dump downs and they can't create separation when they're like getting met at the line of scrimmage. So I just feel like this is a 3-4 reception game for him again.
Yeah. Dante Pettis at 13.5 just for those keeping score at home. So
he's back. He's back. Can you be back if you were never like really there?
I don't think so. All right, we're going to move to the Monday night games: Tennessee Titans and Buffalo Bills. The Titans are 10-point underdogs in this game. The total's at 47.5. Yeah, what do you like in this game?
Curious to what Derrick Henry's rushing props look like.
Whatever they are, I'm going under. So, because he's not that great. You heard it here first.
I mean, it's as consistent as they come.
89.5.
What's his carries?
Probably too many.
If it's under 20, we're taking it.
It's 21.5.
Oh God, it's right there. Right there. I was hoping for a 19.
They're good. They're good.
They're too good. That's the problem, fuckers. What's Hilliard receptions at? Let's get spicy.
No, he's out.
Is he? Hilliard's out?
Yeah. I heard he was out because someone took Derrick Henry receiving yards over 10.5. I saw.
Over 2.5?
10.5.
Oh, I thought you said 2.5. I was like, that's so disrespectful. That's so disrespectful.
And keep in mind, I don't have all the props for this game. I like Stephon Diggs over 72.5 yards. I'm not scared of anything in that Titans secondary. It's actually kind of a joke. I think Diggs is a bona fide baller, and I think he just gets fed in this game.
What's Kyle Phillips' receptions at?
I do not have Kyle Phillips.
It's sad.
Only sad. We only have yards, and we have Nick Westbrook, Akina, Robert Woods, Burks, Austin Hooper, Diggs, and Davis.
What's Woods at?
Oh no, 41.5.
Oh, ew. That's not it. All right, I'm looking at my bills. Winning. So I do think rushing props could be interesting here due to game script. Do you have Josh Allen carries?
Nope. I have his yards, and it's at 38.5. It's too high. Devin Singletary's at 45.5. Yeah, it's too high. Because they're not going to run him if they don't need to.
That's not true. He gets like 10 carries a game every game. Right? No matter what the game looks like, he gets 10 carries.
That is false.
They could be winning by 15. He still runs.
That is false. I'm not
God,
gonna,
I don't love it. Well, Gabe Davis is out, right?
is that he's here? He's on my list. But is he out?
Give me a sec, because that's why I'm slightly intrigued by your Diggs bet that you brought up. He's questionable, ankle questionable for Monday night. I mean, regardless,
Hmm.
he's coming in the game questionable. Regardless, I think Diggs is going to be our guy.
If we lose the power play because Diggs couldn't get to 73 yards, then we deserve
No,
to lose.
no, yeah, let's do it. We're riding.
All right, he's in. All right, last game of the night, or for us for tonight and for the week. Minnesota Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 2.5 point favorites. I have no idea why, because I like the Vikings in this game. I think the Vikings win this game. The total's at 50.5, which is great because it was at 51.5. 51 is a key number. 4% of NFL games land on that number. So taking the over now is a good spot to be in. That's $1.86. I love Dalvin Cook in this game.
Yeah, dude. I say I'll be honest. I think we might go over in this game.
Take the over points.
I personally think so. The only thing I will say is, was the Packers offense bad last week, or are the
Yes.
Vikings defense better than we thought?
No.
Because I mean,
Packers,
7 points there. That's the only thing that worries me. Like, is the
you,
Vikings
you
defense like
you missed it.
slightly for real?
No, you missed my soliloquy when you were having your technical issues. But the Packers were moving the ball all day long against the Vikings. Vikings generated basically nothing as far as pressure goes. The Packers, had a four and out on the one. They shot themselves in the foot countless times. Obviously, the Christian Watson drop. Like, there's just points left on the board for the Packers. They just, it wasn't their game. I didn't see anything specifically from the Vikings that said like, oh, this Vikings defense is lights out. Like, they played well. They played well enough to win, obviously, but I'm not scared of the Vikings defense in this matchup.
Okay. What is Hurts? Do you have Hurts carries by any chance?
By any chance, I do. Oh, sorry, no, I don't.
What are his rushing yards at?
His rushing yards is currently at 50.5.
50.5?
Yep, 5-0.
That's kind of tasty, dude.
We
Yeah,
could do that. We could
that's
just do
tasty.
50 plus, and that's $1.85. We just lose 3 cents. Okay.
50.5. Yeah. No, I'd feel pretty good about that.
So you don't like Dalvin Cook?
What are his at?
He's at 71.5.
That's high.
It's not
I think
high.
this game.
Dalvin Cook's going to eat in this game.
I think this game can go either way. I know Cook's a beast. I know he almost went for 100 last week, but like, I could see them losing and Kirk Cousins having.
Did you see DeAndre Swift last week, sir?
Yeah. That's true. No, that defense was Swiss cheese. No, you're right. No, you're right. No, that run defense was. It looked like it could potentially be the worst run defense in the league, actually. Because Swift's yards per carry for Swift was like god level last week. It was like every time I touched the ball, it was like ridiculous. I'm good with either of those.
All right, how about we do this? All right, so the last game, we'll go 40 for Hurts rushing yards, and we'll go 60 for Cook.
Oh, I love it. So safe. We just wore 2 condoms at once. Like that's how you power parlay.
That's how you power parlay. And we got odds for this one at 24,160 to 1. So $5 wins us 120K, Perry.
Let's do it. Is that 120K in Australian or
Yes,
US?
120K Australian. So you're gonna have to take a little bit of a haircut to win this one.
Yes. It's okay. You got me a little excited, but it's cool.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on to the show. It was a blast, and I hope everyone takes a tidbit from each game and uses it for their own bets this week. Have a hell of a week too, Perry. And you got any tell people where we can find you as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at Perry Acid, first and last name on all socials. So find me there. More importantly, just go follow Unwrapped Sports. Go follow guys like Corey here, who are just absolutely grinding and putting out amazing content and staying on it. So follow in all season. Bets and Wraps here to make you some serious money. There's one thing you could do for me. Go check out MyBookie. They are an awesome site there, and we have a great deal with them where if you go to mybookie.ag, you put in code USN100, you'll get double your deposit. Whatever money you put in, I think it's a minimum of 45, they'll double it, and a $15 sign-up bonus as well. So again, mybookie.ag, go use USN100 for your sign-up code. Just make some free money with us. You know, the power parlay is hitting this week. If you're missing out on that 120 Australian, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah, man. You know, it's rough. It's rough out here in the streets for Cowboys fans right now. So I'm keeping my head down, but it's been a hell of a week for me. It's been a stressful but just awesome week too. But I could not be more excited to kick my feet up and watch all day of NFL football tomorrow. So I'm pumped to be here late night doing our pod. I'm so pumped I was able to fit it in tonight and be with you, Corey. Thanks so much for having me on. You're incredible. I love you, brother.
Love you too, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to everyone soon. See you guys later. Bye.
Have a great week too.